Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Rants. This is episode 22. I am Mudcat, the host of Rants, episode 22. Welcome back, guys. We are also recording this one as a video again. This is the second video we're going to do for rebroadcasting on Mixer. Spread the good news all across the Mixerverse, guys. And we're going to jump right into it today. We're going to be talking about building a community. How do I build a community? Why would I build a community? Maybe a little bit of ins and outs. And this is one that is hard for me because I'm not done with it. Like it's an ongoing process. I'm further along in that process than I was a couple of months ago and a year ago, and but I still have a long way to go, and I don't know all the answers to it. But let's talk about some things that I think are important about community and for growing a community. Because I think a community is a baseline, what you want as a streamer, right? You want people who are going to be there to show up to your content. You want people that are going to be kind of centered around you and your content, and you want people who are theoretically going to support you, whether that's with views or financially or chat messages or whatever. Like, you want people around you. And if you're like me, I see it as a service that I provide. Like, I provide a shared experience when people come to my stream, right? We have a shared experience about the games, about the conversation, about the whatever that's happening on stream. And then I provide them with something outside of this stream that they may or may not want. If you come to my streams, like maybe you're not interested in community, that's cool. Maybe you are. That's something that I get to build and I get to provide I see it as a service. You can think about it in whatever terms you want, but that's one way I view it. And so how do you do this? How do you get this community out there? How do you build a community? How do you form a community for whatever reason you want to build a community? I think the first step here is to make good content. As always, make good content. Be a good streamer. Nobody's going to want to be a part of your community if your stream sucks, right? They're not going to come in and follow you and come back every day and want to like get to know you more and get to know the people around you and the people in your stream if you suck. So, okay, step one, if you're not there yet, if you don't make good content, if you feel like your content is not very good, okay, go back and look at it. Let's make good content. I think that one's step one, so I don't want to hash that one out too much. We've talked about that in previous episodes of Rants. If you haven't downloaded Rants yet, guys, if you're watching the video, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, get it wherever. If you haven't figured that part out yet, maybe you should go back and start there. Okay. But once you start making content you're happy with and that you think is good, how do you get people to rally around that? How do you get people to engage with that? Well, and I think the most important thing here is time. It just takes time. There are people out there who, let's just use the analogy of making friends. I use this one a lot. There are people out there who go to a party, talk to everyone at the party, and are instantly friends with everyone at the party, right? And we hate those people because the rest of us are awkward. It takes us time. Sometimes we make a bad first impression. Sometimes other people make a bad first impression on us, and it takes time and effort and energy and, seeing those people and interacting with those people over and over and over again before, you start to like form a friendship or a group of friends or whatever. Like, it's the same principle. So while somebody else may, and that's why I think time is important, and ignoring ratios is important here too, because like, again, it just takes as long as it takes. If you have 5,000 followers and you have a community of 500 people, maybe you got lucky and you're that person at the party and you clicked with everybody who came across your stream and everyone wanted to be a part of whatever was going on. And maybe you're that person with 20,000 followers and you just haven't found your people yet. Like maybe they're out there, you just haven't found them yet. So I think ratios can be misleading in terms of community. Numbers have their place, and yes, there's a time and a place to focus on what those mean and let those help guide your decisions as far as what kind of content you're making and how you're doing that. But I think in terms of community, sometimes the answer is time. Sometimes you just have to wait. Again, you have to find your people. You got to find your tribe, find those people that click with you, because, you may have thousands and thousands of views, but maybe you're just an odd duck. Maybe you have a very particular style, a very particular brand of of humor, of conversation, of streaming that only a certain group of people are going to get. And those are the people you want, right? Because those are the people that are going to come back and support you because you gel on that level. And people who don't get you probably won't support you very long, right? They may stick around for a while, but so those aren't really going to be community members necessarily. And so you have to spend time, and I think it takes time, and I think a lot of things in streaming take time. And guys, and if you're a streamer, I think the biggest disservice you can do yourself is to not accept that. Like gaining followers takes time. Gaining concurrent viewership takes time, and what I mean by time is time being consistent, doing the same thing every day and every day and every day and every day and every day. And at some point you have to evaluate it, right? Because then if it's not working, you have to set thresholds, but there's a certain level of just pounding the nail that you got to do to get anywhere, right? You got to be consistent. You got to keep at it for a little bit. And it's the same thing with community, and sometimes you think you're getting somewhere, and then everyone leaves your stream and your community falls off, and then you have to rebuild. And because those people weren't really the real deal, they thought they were and they weren't, and that happens sometimes. Like shit happens, life's tough, then you die, so being patient, taking time, putting in hard work, and being consistent is one of the foundations, I think, of building a community. You have to be trying to reach as many people as possible. So that takes consistency and time. The next thing is, guys, once you start to gain some traction here, you start to pull in people, you start to maybe get some more viewers, you're starting to get more and more hosts because you've networked correctly. You're starting to, maybe you're partnered, you're getting channel ones and you're getting features and you're getting all this stuff. So you're getting traffic to your stream, right? You've put in the hard work, you've gotten somewhere, now your stream is getting a little bit of traffic, even if it's just a small bit. And you have random people that pop by, right? Okay, well, you got random people that pop by. Good, let's just make all those people part of your community. Like, draw them in, get them in your Discord, let's go. Let's slow down a little bit. You have to think about what you're trying to build. What kind of community do you want to build? What kind of people do you want around you and around each other? Because ideally what you want from a community, at least this is from my perspective, right? I guess everyone has their own idea of what they want from a community. I see community as a service I provide, and something I enjoy personally as well. So like I stream, I create a shared experience or an entertainment value or whatever you want to think about while I'm live. And when I'm not live, the thing that I provide you is if you want something outside of my stream, if you want a group of people who are interested in the same thing, who band together to play games, who have, just post, memes and have discussions about games. If you want to find your people, I provide a space, a curated space where maybe this is your group, maybe this is your people. Maybe these are people that you enjoy and you can hang out with and do other things with that don't even involve me as a streamer. Like that's the goal, like to have a community that enjoys itself regardless of whether I'm there or not. Like, and that's something I want to provide as a service. So that's one more thing. People come in, they get this entertainment value or whatever you want to call it from my stream. And then outside of that, I've also created this other thing that they can take advantage of if they so choose, and if they want to be a part of it. And so I think that's really cool. But how do you do that? You got to be selective. You got to prune it. It's like a plant. You got to prune it. When there are negative elements that affect the health of the whole, you have to cut those things out. What do I mean by that? I don't feel like that's that complicated, but in case you're not tracking with me, you got to ban people. You got to kick people. You got to tell people straight out, I don't think this is the place for you. I don't think this is the community for you. And I'm not saying like, if someone's different than you, a little bit, has a different opinion, argues with you about one thing that you're like, no, get the F out. It's not that. You're not just kicking people to be mean. But if you, for instance, if you got a guy who keeps making off-color jokes and it's making everyone uncomfortable, you got to boot that guy. Or let me give you a real example. I had a viewer who joined my Discord, and I think this was a kid. I think this was a younger viewer, because they came into Discord and all they would do is say hi. They would say hi. And then people would say hi back. Hello, hi, how you doing? Um, as you do in like a chat or a Discord, they say hi, how's it going? And this person would never say anything back. He wouldn't respond. And then 2, 3 hours would go by. Hi, and he'd say hi again. And maybe one of my mods or me or somebody else would just be nice and be like, hi, what's up, man? And then nothing. And then every once in a while he'd say hi, and it got to the point where my chat for an entire day was just hi, 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 and it was making me uncomfortable, and it was making everyone else awkward. It's like when nobody else wanted to talk in the Discord because it was just kind of awkward at that point. Like, how do you move on from that? You know what? I made the decision. I said, well, I first I messaged this guy and I said, hey man, this is a place for conversation and for community. So try saying something else besides hi. Like try talking about something. Like what do you want to talk about? Like, is there something you want to talk about? I sent him a message like trying to kind of like motivate him to say something besides hi, and he never did. He just kept saying hi, and I think it's probably a younger viewer, but I banned him. I booted him from the Discord because it just wasn't a good fit for the culture. It wasn't a good fit for the community. It was making me uncomfortable. It was making other people uncomfortable. I'm trying to provide a space where people aren't uncomfortable, where they enjoy each other's company. This individual, despite my efforts to coax them into, maybe providing something of sustenance or value of community building with everyone else and connecting, they just refused. So I was like, okay, your call. Banned them. They came into my stream actually recently. It was like a few months later, and they said, "Hey, you kicked me from your Discord." And at first, it took me a minute. It could have been a while. It took me a minute to place it, and I said, "You're that guy who just kept saying hi over and over again, and never ever said anything else." I said, "Is that you? Are you that guy?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, well, I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, you kept saying hi. You kept making it awkward because, and I just explained myself. I was like, you kept making it awkward. You didn't provide anything to the community. Like, you said hi. People said hi back. And you never, people asked, what's up? What's going on? And you never responded. Like, what do you want me to, you want me to just leave you in there so you can say hi every 2 hours for the next 18 years? Like, that. It's a hard decision, right? It's a hard decision because you don't want to be that person that just kicks someone for something random and kind of, and be exclusive. You don't want to like make it your community an unwelcoming place. But at the same time, when it becomes clear that somebody is more of a negative than a positive to your community, then you have to do that. Another example of this, guys, is I had a guy who he came into my community, and I had hosted somebody after my stream. And he didn't enjoy that host. He didn't like the person I hosted. He said, this guy's boring. I don't like him. Blah, 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 blah. And he kept just trash talking this person that I know and that I enjoy their content. Like, are they the same style as me? No. Very different style stream. But this person didn't enjoy him. And I said, hey, I understand you don't enjoy him. You know what, dude? You can just turn the channel. And they went on a tirade, a diatribe about how who I host is a reflection on how good of a content creator I am. And I said, man, I host people of a lot of different styles, a lot of different, whatever. You're not going to like them all. So if you're going to judge my content based on whether or not you like the person I hosted or not, if that person was, being racist or sexist or something like that, sure, maybe that's a reflection on my judgment. Because you're bored by their content is not a reflection on me. That's a reflection on, you don't like their content. Great. Okay, cool. Don't watch it. You don't have to come in and badmouth this person. And so what I did there, and they hit me with the hard, well, I'm factoring into whether or not I stay and support your stream or not. And to which then I was like, okay, we're going to take this into DMs. And I went into the DMs and said, listen, man, you can stay or you can go. I don't care either way. It makes no difference to me either way right now. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to come into my community and badmouth people. I was like, you're not going to come in and be a dick to everybody or to people that, that I host or that I like. Like if you don't think their content's good, That's one thing to say, hey, I didn't enjoy it. It's another thing to go on and on and on about how you hated this and this and this, and just badmouth them for no reason at all. And so I said, hey, you know what, man? I was like, I'll give you the decision, but if you badmouth someone in my community, I'll make that decision for you. And he ended up leaving the community, but that's my job as the community leader, as the streamer, as the person who's building this community. I have to be the one to have the hard decisions to make and have those hard conversations, right? If someone is being like that and is being detrimental to your community, you have to cut them out, man. You got to prune them, right? You have to find your culture and build your culture. Whatever you want your culture to be. If you want your culture to be a bunch of sarcastic assholes that just rip on each other all the time and there's no mercy and it's all whatever, I guess you got to find the people that fit that bill and get rid of everyone else who can't stand that. And if you want your community to be a very welcoming place, then you have to find people that are welcoming, and anybody who can't get with that, then you need to, either give them an option or make a hard decision. Because you're one person like that, two people like that, we've all seen how toxic people can kill a chat. It's the same way in a Discord. Like, it doesn't matter if it's your stream, if it's a Discord, if it's Twitter. People who are negative all the time or toxic or just don't fit whatever you're trying to build can just ruin it instantly. They can put the whole vibe off, and you're in charge of that, right? You have to protect your community. You have to protect the thing you're building. And sometimes that's harder than it is easy. Because sometimes that means making that hard choice to kick somebody, even though you don't really want to be that guy who just boots people from your community. So you definitely don't want to like just swing the hammer wildly for no reason, but you also want to use it when appropriate to make sure you're shaping the community the way it needs to be shaped. And this doesn't happen very often, right? Most people are cool, and even if they're a little bit off or strange or they don't quite fit with your group, like, it's okay, because they're well-meaning, and you find to enjoy people for their own quirks, and they enjoy you for yours, and you live and let live. But I'm talking about people who are actively going to ruin the vibe of your community, and so that's your responsibility as a streamer. So and if you don't do that, we're talking about how to build a community. If you don't do that, what happens to a plant if you don't prune it, right? It doesn't grow as strong and as tall. If you don't take action, you will lose other community members doing the right things because they're like, oh, this guy's super annoying. He's always here. He's really like bringing the vibe down. And then those people will leave, and those are the people you want to stay. So as far as building a community, you have to do that kind of stuff. So I think that's important as a base level. Put in the time, make sure you're building the right kind of community with the right people as your foundation. And then as your community grows, and this is a stage I'm in, you have to start providing things. This is where it gets hard. You can't just open up a chat and say, hey guys, have at it. You have to provide a reason for people to be there, for people to use it, for people to want to be there, right? You have to provide maybe content yourself. Like, starting a Discord is hard. When you start a Discord or a community, you have to be involved in every conversation. So maybe you're providing conversation. Maybe you're providing the memes. Maybe you're providing a podcast, with a discussion page so people can go and discuss a podcast there, like providing them a space to respond, to have a voice, to have a whatever. One thing recently, as we've been going along, that I mentioned last stream, we'll kind of get into it again because these guys just had their first game last night. You need to meet needs, right? In my stream, I had community members. I had people who have been around for a while. They said, we want to play D&D. I wish I had someone to play with. Blah, 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 blah. And I said this, I had to tell the story last time too, right? And I said, why don't you guys just play together? And so I set up a channel in my Discord for them to organize, and for anybody to organize who wants to play D&D in my Discord. If you want to play D&D and you were looking for a group, get in my Discord. We have people there who want to do that. But I set up a channel, right? I met those needs. They had a need. I saw a need in the community that I was building and I took action. Now I could have just, ignored that and let those guys try to figure it out themselves, or let them just not play D&D because they couldn't find a group or whatever, and just ignore that part of chat. Instead, I said, okay, well, this is something people want. All right, so I met that need. I gave them a space to do that. I said, hey guys, I tried to bring those people together, because here's the best part. They had this D&D game last night. They said they had a great time, and it seems like they want to continue playing together. Cool. Now I just took 5 or 6 random people from my stream who come in and only really talk to me most of the time, and now they're doing something on a weekend night that has nothing to do with me. Boom. Those guys are friends, acquaintances, whatever you want to call them, D&D group. And maybe, who knows, dude, maybe those guys are best friends for the rest of their lives. Maybe those guys are in each other's weddings. Maybe those guys are just a D&D group forever, but I've provided them something. And not to say that like I made them friends or like I did all that stuff, but I saw a need. I saw an opportunity to provide my community with a chance to build or to form relationships they were looking to form. And I acted on that, and I provided a space, and boom, guess what? They took advantage of it. They formed those relationships on their own, and now they've got something cool that I helped facilitate, but they did the work for it, and now they get to enjoy it on their own, and it has nothing to do with me, except for the fact that they never would have had it if they came to my stream. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by providing them something and building a community as a service to people. Whether you as a streamer, whether you as a streamer are super into sitting in a Discord and chatting all day, maybe you're not into that. I get it. It's hard, man. They got a lot of stuff going on. Being in every conversation is exhausting. It's exhausting. But that doesn't mean you can't provide a place for people to do that if they want. You know what I'm saying? And so, even if you don't need that personally, other people who you want around you and to want them to be a part of your stream and a part of your community do need that, and they want that, and they're actively looking for that. So you provide that service, provide that space, whatever. And I think when you provide people that kind of thing, you've given them something else. So what are they going to do? They're going to show up to your streams more because you keep providing them value, entertainment. Like all day long, you're providing them value. You're providing them value in entertainment. You're providing them value in conversations in your community platforms, whether you're using Discord or Slack or whatever. You're providing them opportunities like to maybe to meet other people and to play games and form groups and have discussions and so they're going to support you because you've given them something. Like it's a fair trade. It's a fair trade at the very least, right? They're going to come and watch you, or they're going to come and give you sparks, embers, donations, subscriptions, or whatever. And that's how it works. You've provided them something, and because you've given something, sometimes they want to give back, and that's cool. And it's an ecosystem that just feeds itself, and it's great. Works for both parties. And so providing people this service or these opportunities is what you're trying to get at, I think, after with a community. And this takes effort, man. This takes effort, right? That doing that D&D thing took me being actively aware and actively listening to what people were saying, what they wanted, and not just ignoring it, right? I could have just ignored it and went on, but no, I went out of my way to set this stuff up. You have to put in this effort on and off stream, right? You have to be connected on, whether it's through social media, through Discord. You got to be having conversations with your community. It doesn't stop. Community doesn't stop when your stream goes off. This is a 24. You want to be a streamer? You want to be a full-time streamer, a professional streamer, whatever you want to call it? This is a 24/7 job, dudes. 24/7 job. It just is. That's. It's a 24/7 job. There's been a lot of people that have told me, after I got partnered, oh, now you can stop doing the late night streams. Now you can stop doing so many hours. You're partnered. Now you can stop grinding, for lack of a better term, grinding. Now you can stop, with all the crazy social media no, it can't. I can't ever stop, and I don't ever want to stop. Because I enjoy doing this and I want to build something and I want it to continue to grow, and that doesn't passively happen. You know what I'm saying? So you have to put in the effort. It doesn't passively happen. When you're starting a Discord, like I said earlier, you have to be the community yourself for a while. That's how it is. You have to be the person talking. You have to be the person starting those conversations, posting the memes, trying to get people into game nights, trying to get people into whatever. Like, you have to be the community until you're not. You know, at some point it shifts, and people get to know each other and not just you. So people in your chat start talking to each other, and that's when you know you've made it. Like, people come in and they don't just say hi to you, they say hi to everyone else in chat, and they have conversations that you're not even a part of, because they're not conversations for you. Um, and that's, and that carries over into Discord and places, and then you don't have to do quite as much. And now, where I'm at the point where I don't have to do quite as much in my Discord. I still have to do quite a bit, I think, but not as much as I was. Now I'm at the point where, instead of feeling like I have to get in every conversation, I feel like I get to get involved in the conversations I want to get involved in, right? And then if things slow down, yeah, sometimes I'm responsible. I got to keep this chat moving. I got to keep these people, you know, engaged, in remembering that this is a place they can come out. This is a place they enjoy. This is a place that provides them something of value, something that they want, and something that is good for everybody. So, but I'm to the point where I get to back off a little bit, and because of that, I get to enjoy my community more. Instead of having to be the community, I get to enjoy the community that's forming. And it's more than saying good morning, right? How many Discords you guys been into where all the messages are like, good morning, 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 good morning. That's not community. That's just a good morning. That's just a meh. I'm here, might as well say good morning. Like, I'm talking real discussion. I'm talking, connections, people sharing parts of their lives, sharing information, sharing laughs, sharing sometimes hardships. That's been happening in my community occasionally. From time to time, people have a hard time. People, go through stuff, and they feel comfortable enough to come to my Discord. And these group of people that I have collected themselves around the Discord, around me, or wherever, around themselves, and to share, like, that they're going through a hard time or whatever. And that's super cool, because they get to share that, and they get to interact with that, and they get that, whatever that need is, whether it's a need for some real life connection, or whether that's a need for playing video games together, whatever it is, they can get that there. And I think that's cool that people feel comfortable enough and feel like they're making friends and connections enough where they want to do that. And so that's really cool. And again, all that takes time, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen overnight for me, and we're still not done, and we're still growing and growing and growing every day. But it's more than saying good morning. It's more in those superficial conversations. You have to form real connections. And you, as the streamer, again, as you're starting this, you have to be kind of the catalyst for that. You have to remember so many things, even in your stream. Like, in order for people to feel like they're a part of your community, they have to be a part of your community. And if the only way they're going to be a part of your community is if you consider them part of your community. And how do you show people that you consider them to be a part of your community? Well, you remember stuff about them, right? You know who they are. You ask about them. You get to know them. You give a shit, at least half a shit, and you have to prove that. You have to show that you're not just, taking empty sparks, that you, on some level, maybe you're not best friends. Like, I'm not saying that, every viewer I have, every person in my Discord is even a friend, even a regular friend. But I'm saying, I have a certain connection with every single one of my viewers. Whether, no matter how that is, maybe even it's just a casual acquaintance type connection, passing connection. Like, there's something there. There's not nothing. There can't be nothing. If there's nothing, then what are you doing? I don't know. And remembering details and being involved in those conversations and bringing things up like that, remembering people's, they're applying for a job, or they're going to school or stuff like that. Just taking that little bit of extra effort. And it's a lot of effort, guys. It is effort to remember what the fuck everyone's doing, especially as you grow. But you got to commit that stuff to memory, because that's a good way to build community too. That's because when you show people hey, I remember something about you. I want to be connected with you. Then they want to be connected back, and they want to like, okay, I'll join your Discord. I'll see what's going on, and then they get connected to other people, and boom, you got this community who forms. But it takes that effort. It takes that effort. Um, you have to encourage growth beyond you as well, and I think I've kind of touched on that a little bit here already. Um, Again, like with the thing with the D&D, like this is me encouraging growth beyond me. I want my community to grow and be more active, and I want them to do it without having to rely on talking to me all the time. I want them to do it without having to rely on me being the only part of the community they connect with. Because at some point you get into a big enough community, that's impossible. I can't give everyone all my time as a streamer. But again, if you provide them a spot where the community can grow and they can connect with other people they enjoy, well, then that's cool. Now they've got other friends. Now they've got other connections. Now they're doing all these other things that don't involve me. And in a good community shouldn't be revolving around you. Like it does revolve around you and it doesn't, right? Because it's a place where they have gathered because they were at your stream, and yes, you share your information. Like, hey guys, I'm going live. Hey guys, here's my discount codes. Hey guys, here's some information you might need to know about the stream. Because they've all gathered around you. But other than the that kind of stuff, the daily workings of the stream kind of stuff, like the rest of it should just be about the community, right? They should be about each other. They should be, you know, it should be feeding itself off of what everyone else is doing to connect to each other and grow. And so that's what you want. You want that community to move from a place where it's just about you, which is probably when you start, it's just about you, to a place where it's not really about you at all. And there's always going to be that common thread. You can't get rid of you. Obviously, you don't want to like have a Discord where nobody gives a shit about you, but like you're that common thread that ties it all together, and hopefully because they're there and they spend enough time, they won't forget that. But at some point, day in, day out, you don't want all they do is to focus on your stream, and if you expect that, you're going to be disappointed. That's an ego trip you're on right there if that's what you're expecting. But for me, like I keep saying, like I want a Discord that grows itself. I want people to be like, hey guys, even if they've never even seen my stream, if you're in my Discord and you go out to a friend, you're like, hey, you should get involved in this community. It's a lot of fun. Like we just bullshit all day and post memes, and we play D&D together now, and we play these video games and that video games, and that would be cool too. Like if that Discord just grows on its own without me even having to find people on stream, that's cool. I mean, hopefully when they get pulled into my Discord, then I have the opportunity to present my stream to them, and hopefully it works for me as well, because I mean, obviously on some level I need this to work for me as well. But I definitely look forward to the day when it's even less about me and the community, and it's just about the community. And then, because then I can enjoy it selectively, right? If I'm having a bad day and I don't want to talk and I don't want to whatever, I don't have to talk in my Discord. If I am having a good day and I want to share that good day and or just get involved in a conversation, a topic, a discussion, then I can enjoy that Discord and that community or whatever. Even if you're not using Discord, I'm just using Discord ubiquitously here, guys. I can enjoy my community as well, rather than being obligated to my community. You know what I mean? Rather than it being a ball and chain, it can be something I enjoy. And that's hard at first sometimes when you feel obligated, and as it grows, it gets a little bit easier. And again, we're not where I want to be someday. I still am involved fairly heavily with stuff, and I probably always will be, just because I like being involved. But I don't want to have to be involved. That's the difference. Being involved a lot and having to be involved a lot are two very different things. And so how do you do this, guys? What's the secret? How do you get these people in here? How do you grow this good community? How do you get it to be self-perpetuating? Well, I think it goes back to something we've talked about on other podcasts, is you have to give before you get, right? You have to give before you get. And we talked about this with like networking, like, sometimes if you want someone to pay attention to you or host you, like you gotta give before you get. And you got to give with I mean, you can have expectations, but you got to temper those expectations. Like, like when you're a streamer and you host somebody, it doesn't always mean you're going to be friends with them or they're going to host you back or they're going to follow you. And it's the same thing with community. Like, you got to temper your expectations, but you got to give before you get. The more you give to your community, guys, the more time, the more effort, the more energy you put into it, they will reciprocate it. And then that will fuel you, and you'll want to give more time, more effort, more energy, and it will just spiral like that. And before you know it, you'll have a good community if you've done the things to grow a good community. Prune it and make sure that the people there are connecting, and you're providing them opportunities and services to enjoy their time in your community. And you'll give that effort, and then they'll pay it back someday. At least some of them will, right? Follows, viewership, subs, donos, sparks, embers, whatever. Maybe some of them won't, but at least some of them will if you've done a good job. Some people are going to be grateful to you for providing that environment, that space that they could be in. And so I think that's how you do it, guys. I think that's how you do it. And again, there's probably all different types of communities. There's probably all different methods of building a community, and maybe people have a different method than me, but I just think, the approach that we always take here, being thoughtful, being purposeful, trying to provide people something of value, and trying to provide that and give before you get, is a great mentality for getting that. So, if you've got a community going, guys, I would challenge you this week, as you're streaming, or as you're in your Discord, or as you're in your Slack, or whatever it is, or as you're on Twitter, that you should provide an opportunity for your community, whether that's hosting a tournament, whether that's setting up a spot for them to discuss a certain thing, or whether that's setting up something like I did when they were actively saying I wanted to play D&D, and you met that need. Try to meet a need. Try to figure out what your community wants, what they need, and then give it to them. And see what happens. See how much more engaged they become with you and with each other. I think you'd be surprised. Like, when you get people involved with each other, then they also get involved with you because you provided them that opportunity. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about community building, guys. Again, it's a work in progress. I haven't mastered it yet. But someday, guys, someday. Guys, if you want to find me, you can follow me on mixer.com/mudcat. If you want to find all my stuff, my Patreon, sponsor, affiliate codes, and stuff like that, you can find those on my website, mudcat.tv. Check it out. Or merch or stuff like that. Just one link makes it easier, mudcat.tv. You can follow me on Twitter, xmudcatx, or on Instagram, mudcattv. Guys, go out there. Do something, provide something for your community. Try to build a community. Think about what kind of community you want to build this week. And as you're doing it, and hopefully your streams go well, and that you can really apply some of this to the community you're trying to form, guys. And I look forward to hearing some of your feedback, maybe in my Discord, about your thoughts on this. So, all right, guys, have a great week, and I will catch you on the next episode of Rants.